mic on it. Yay, we're live! Hi, guys, and welcome back to Reads and Readers for a special, surprising Fiction Falls live show discussion for Iron
Iron
Flame. We did do Fourth Flame last month, which I do have that live linked down below, so that'll be linked down if y'all want to go check out our thoughts on that. But I was devouring this and I went, hey, if I did a live show, do you want to join? And Amanda said yes, and here we are. So obviously this is a 6-star read for me.
And this is Clint's first time reading it, for those that don't know.
And I literally was texting people, and when Nikki told me that at the end she sat there and stared at the wall for 20 minutes, I sat there and I stared at the wall for 20 minutes. So I thought that was kind of funny that I read her text while I was staring at the wall. I glanced over at my phone and I just started giggling.
That's funny.
But that ending was what the hell?
Right?
So I forgot to pull out the banner, but these are our introductions and first ratings. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Those that don't know who I am, I'd be surprised because I've been here for a while. But I'm Amanda from Booktopia and also co-host with Clint on Fiction Falls. This was kind of a spur of the moment decision to do this. But we were down, and I haven't done my reread yet. I read it before, but when I do my reread, I plan on rereading the graphic audio. I'm planning to do that while I'm at work, so I have something to listen to. So I go to work on Monday, and I will be re-listening. Because the funny thing is, I never read a physical book of this. I don't think I even really read the physical book of the first one. I think I read a little bit, and then I just stopped reading the physical and just listened to the audio. And then I jumped right into the audio for Iron Flame when that came out because Ray wanted to read with me. So I never actually read a physical copy. But I plan on reading a physical copy for Onyx Storm when that comes out. Because I can't wait. I need to know things.
I'm trying to finish some things on my TBR so I can just, when that gets here, just go, okay, TBR gone, let's go. And I haven't done that with a book in a while.
Wow.
So, okay. So we got some really cool questions that I found. The same 3 website things that gave me questions for Fourth Wing, I found for Iron Flame. Be warned for anybody who does come and watch. This is full of spoilers. Lots of spoilers.
Because you can't discuss theories without spoilers.
And we are going to do theories at the end. Granted, I think a couple of our questions kind of blend in with theories, but whatever. So let's just get into these questions. I think I'm a little too hyper today, and I don't know why.
Well, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking 7-Up Zero, which has no caffeine, no nothing in it. So I'm like, I don't know. It's just the ADHD bouncing off the walls. It's fine.
Well, Ray may be going to Starbucks for us, possibly.
Sweet.
Because I could use some Starbucks today.
Okay, so our first question is thoughts on the ending of Fourth Wing and the surprise reveal of Brennan.
I was like, WTF?
Same. But that kind of leads, because the end of Fourth Wing literally leads into Iron Flame.
Right.
So that's why I felt like this had to be discussed.
I couldn't believe he was actually alive. So there are clues that I noticed after the fact. In Fourth Wing that kind of explains a lot because they never found a body and said like, oh, he's really dead. That never happened. So after like thinking about it after reading it, I'm like, well, that explains it. I mean, there's no actual body, maybe he's alive.
I also have a theory that I'm just gonna like go ahead and play right here because we're talking about Brandon a little bit. We'll be talking more about him later on, but do we think Brennan might be a villain?
He didn't display any qualities when he was, I guess, at the beginning of Iron Flame. I don't think. I mean,
My
the way he
thing,
was talking to Zane at the end of Fourth Wing, it didn't sound like the way a Venom would speak. I mean, I don't know what Venom would speak like. That's just my thoughts.
my thing is I'm wondering if he's not a villain, is Niolan, sorry, the one who saved him and brought him back to life, is he a villain now? Because we don't know what happened to his body either.
That's possible.
Very good point.
I also have another theory of another person being a villain, but we'll get to that one in a little bit because I saw a TikTok and I can't stop thinking about it now. And it's one that I didn't send to people because I wanted to discuss it here.
Gotcha.
Okay, so do you think Violet helping Liam's sister Sloane was the right choice, even though she could have weakened her wing?
That's a good question.
Also, hi Shay.
He said, "Do you think Violet helping Liam's sister Sloane was the right choice, even though she could have weakened her wing?"
Because as you watch how Sloane is, because she got Sloane part of the fourth wing, she gave her all the advice at the beginning, even though Sloane wanted to kill her. And then you find out that Sloane can't fight.
What do you do?
That Sloane can't do anything. So,
Right.
do we think it was the right decision of saving Sloane before we even know what her power is?
You raised a good point.
I don't know.
He doesn't know.
In my head, I felt like Violet saw herself in Sloane because Sloane coming in was just like Violet coming in Fourth Wing.
Yeah.
Both deemed as weak.
Yeah. I thought the same thing, actually.
I liked like the parallel there.
Yeah.
Okay. So Rhiannon is promoted to squad leader. What qualities do you think make her a good or a bad leader? And if Rhiannon wasn't promoted, what other character would you have made a squad leader?
I would have made Violet a squad leader.
I don't think I would have.
No, Violet does not belong to be a squad leader.
Why do you think that?
Because, well,
then she'd have responsibilities. She doesn't need the responsibilities right now. She has too much other crap on her plate.
yeah, exactly.
I think you answered what Ray was trying to say.
My thing is the only person I wouldn't make a leader out of the Fourth Wing crew is Riddick. As long as Riddick's not a leader, I don't care.
He cracks me up though.
Me too, but I don't see him being a leader.
No, he's more like a support crew more than like a leader.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to die because he's such a beloved character. And no, what I'm meaning is the beloved characters are the ones that are dying.
Yeah. Like Liam.
So at one point in the series, I was screaming thinking he was about to die. And then we thought Sawyer was going to die. Listen.
Yeah, I get that.
And I agree with Shay. We can't imagine anyone else as a leader. But are there any qualities she has that makes her a good leader? And is there any qualities that would make her a bad leader for Rhiannon?
Well, she's pretty good at like. She's always been like.
We're talking about
Rhiannon.
Yeah, I feel like she was a good leader because she could balance out. I don't think she ever really, like, she was true to her, character. Like, she was true to herself and her friends.
Mm-hmm.
At least if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I feel like she was a good leader. I don't really think she had many bad qualities.
That's what I was trying to like, vocalize a little bit because she's such a good friend, and she knows how to be there for people. Qualify her as a good squad leader.
But isn't that also what would qualify her as a bad leader?
You mean because she puts her friends over? I don't think she ever.
I don't see her doing that. I think even if they were in the wrong, she would still discipline them if she thought they were in the wrong. So she's pretty straightforward.
See, that's exactly what I was thinking, but I had to ask.
No,
because
one question.
Yeah.
I like some of these questions because they're questioning how you think about the characters in a different light.
Right.
Just like we did with Fourth Wings questions. Like, that's what I liked about some of these.
Yeah.
Okay. So this one wasn't a question, so I came up with just like a quick thing. But what are our thoughts on the events that happened during the war games? Of like what actually happened to send them there to go fight? 1 second. What is the name of that town? Athbeen. Athbeen. The battle at Athbeen. No, it wasn't Athbeen. They were sent to Athbeen, but it was Ressen. The Battle of Ressen. Where Liam dies. Oh, wait, no, hold on. That's why there wasn't a question. That happened in the first book. Never mind. My bad. We can skip over that question. And we can skip over... Okay, we didn't discuss it, I don't think, but thoughts on Dane stealing a memory from Violet and giving it to her dad?
I feel like that's kind of like... I feel like he betrayed her by doing that. Dane stealing a memory from Violet and giving it to his dad?
Yeah, Dane can go stuff himself.
Okay, Dane equals Tamlin. They're both tampons that are used and need to be thrown away. Just saying. I hate Dane with an utter passion.
But
right.
Did he maybe get pressure from his father? Like, we don't really know. Whatever, doesn't matter. It's still going to do it. But
Shay. You see what Shay said?
Dane's a hoe. I also have a theory here with Dane and his father. We don't know what his father's signet power is.
That's true.
Is Dane being controlled by his father? Because, like, I've seen a couple of TikToks discuss it. There are moments throughout the series when Dane says something that does not make sense. That does not sound like something Dane would say.
I'll need an example.
You need an example.
I never noticed that. I'm not saying that's not true.
I had one earlier to discuss. Now it's like out of my head. But it's like the tone of his voice, like how he talks to Violet. I know that's been brought up a lot, where it's like, oh, 1 second they're like really close friends, and then the next it's like his eyes glazed over and he becomes like an ass out of nowhere for no reason.
Huh. Or maybe
like him covering up for his own feelings.
But his eyes are glazing over.
But because we're talking...
No.
That was actually one of my theories. There is a moment where Violet mentions Cass having stinky breath, and that Dane needs to check out and see if there's any bones or anything stuck in Cass' teeth. Something we have noticed is if a dragon's rider the dragon has stinky breath. The rider is a venom. Or they're evil, i.e., Varish, Jack Barlow.
Huh.
So could Dane be a venom?
It's very possible.
Or
I
is
don't think Ray
Dane
likes that.
or is Dane being controlled by a venom through his dragon?
Huh.
I.e.,
Possible?
possibly his father.
I mean, anything's possible in a book, but
We don't know what Rebecca Yarros has in store for us.
I know this was a TikTok that was. This was a video I saw earlier that they discussed this, and the way the woman was talking about it, I went, huh. Could be why we instantly hate him.
That's true. Because he didn't start out that way.
I mean, actually, I hated him from the first moment he entered the page, but I did the same thing with Gale and Hunger Games. So, listen, I instantly went, he's not the love interest, and I want him to die, so it's fine. I'm just waiting for Dane to die at some point. And when he dies, it's going to be in some epic, dramatic way that's going to be like, oh, he saves Violet because he loves her. And then he'll die, and she'll just go, haha. And then that's what I'm wanting.
That would be funny.
But if we follow the pattern, someone who's really close to Violet dies in each book. Liam, her mother.
It could be interesting.
So that leaves Rhiannon, Riddick, Sawyer, we already know Jessenia's not dead.
Right.
Because she's writing Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. Because the very first entry of each book. Oh, well, this one doesn't say that. Fourth Wing says Jessenia. At least Fourth Wing starts with Jessenia writing it.
Right.
So at least we know she doesn't die.
Just good to know.
At least in the first 3 books. Watch, we'll be wrong and she dies in the next book and I'd be angry. Okay. Why do you think the Navarians wiped history of the Venom and chose their own protection by hoarding the alloy that powers the wards?
That's a really good question. He said, why do you think the Navarians wiped history of the Venom and chose their own protection by hoarding the alloy that powers the wards? I think there's more to it.
I think this third book is really going to go in. I don't know. I think we're going to get a lot of information.
Yeah.
Because I probably have to read a description of the third book. When I first looked, there wasn't a real good description. Now there is one.
I don't want to look at a description. I want to go into it blind.
Yes.
All I knew about this series was dragons and a military school. That's all I knew going into it. And Shadow Daddy. Shay says, I think that's just self-preservation incorrectly, but hey, that's humans for you. Agreed. In my head, it kind of correlates with what we're doing in history today, where they want to erase the past and protect everything themselves.
But in a lot of ways, we have to learn from history to change what we want, like in the moment, like because in order to continue forward, you got to learn from past mistakes.
And I'm curious if there was any villain higher up at the time that helped decide to wipe the history of the villain.
Or is it possible everyone who's in the rebellion is a villain? And that's why they're trying to keep him out.
Interesting. We'll have to dive more into that. But interesting.
Or maybe there's more to the venom than we realize, and then they're not actually bad.
No, man, I can't see how they're good.
But we don't know either way.
Yeah. Look at how they get their magic.
But on the flip side, Sloane does the same exact thing, but does it for good. Because of her power as a siphon.
That's true.
Okay. Thoughts on Major Douchebag?
He's talking about Varish.
That, I think, tells you my thoughts on him.
He's the one who tortured them. Wasn't it in the interrogation scene?
Terrible.
That she killed.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like him at all.
When I wrote this question, I almost typed in thoughts on Major Douchebag.
That's funny. I kind of wonder who they're gonna cast for him in the show, because you have to have the right actor to be able to pull that off.
We need an actor that can play good and secretly be evil.
Yeah.
Because is Major Varish really evil?
Ooh, I know who would be perfect. The guy who played was it Jeff Goldblum? Was that his name? The guy who played the head of Oz and Wicked in the movie.
No, we are not putting Jeff Goldblum as Varish. I ixnay that. I want
Because
I love Goldblum to pieces.
Bad.
I love Goldblum to pieces, and I hate Varish, and I refuse to put Goldblum in that role.
But I think he knows how to play good and bad at the same time. So
I used to have a huge crush on Goldblum with the Jurassic Park movies, and I can't. That is just like wrong on so many levels. But I see where you're going with it, so he would be good for the role, but no.
Yeah, because in Wicked, the way he plays good and bad at the same time, it just made me think of that.
I feel like Varish is one of those most realistic characters of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Where I still feel like at points he thinks what he is doing is for the greater good.
Mm-hmm.
But doing bad does not make it good.
Right.
Which is a lesson we learn with Wicked. So
yeah, that's why I thought of him.
Just every time he appeared on screen when he was first on page, first introduction of him, I almost wanted to throw up. Just something about him, I went, nope, no thank you. No thank you. But
yeah.
Varish tells Violet her weakness is the people she loves. Do you agree? But do you see this as a weakness for her?
I don't think of it as a weakness. I think of it as her best attribute, because it makes her stronger.
Mm-hmm.
They say love is the most powerful strength you can have, just in general. So I really honestly think that that's what pushes her to do better.
That is my exact thoughts on this. See, this is why we do our book clubs and stuff together because we
Right? We're on the
we're a
same
lot alike.
wavelength.
Did Jack Barlow's return shock you, surprise you?
It did actually.
I screamed out loud and I immediately texted you guys and I was like, Jack fucking Barlow? Jack fucking Barlow? You're fine, Dana. I completely understand.
If anything changes, feel free to hop on.
Yeah, you can hop on at any time. If you want to join us afterwards and just chat, you can. But yeah, oh my god, Jack. You came back, you came in the right spot, Dana. Jack fucking Barlow were my exact words.
I can't stand that guy. He's the one I hate the most out of all the characters. If I were to hate one character, it would be him. I did not want him back.
I can't say that. It has to go Dane. I dislike Jack Barlow, but it's obvious that you're supposed to not like him. But you're supposed to like Dane. To some degree.
But we don't like Dane either.
So to me, that's why I hate Dane more, is because he's supposed to be on her side.
Right.
But Jack, we always knew he would not be on her side.
Right. He wanted to kill her from this parapet.
And I want to know why.
I think it's because he doesn't like her. I don't think there's any particular reason.
I want to know, did he come in there with was he told to do something?
I don't know.
No, only because I had seen spoilers long before I read anything. I saw no spoilers. I am so shocked that I have seen no spoilers, and I will make sure that will not happen with Onyx Storm. I will have no spoilers there either.
You just say Iron Storm.
Onyx Storm, whatever. I thought I said Onyx. My bad.
Never mixing book titles together.
Okay, speaking of Jack, why do we think Jack saved Violet instead of letting her fall off the tower?
Maybe he's not actually bad, and he just puts on that persona because of his family for whatever reason.
See, you went that route. My brain went, well, knowing now that he's a villain, and he was a villain at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's been basically a villain since he's came back, or they wouldn't be trying to heal him constantly.
Right.
And heal his soul. And Violet's power isn't lightning. It's pure. Her signet is pure power. It just comes out in the form of lightning.
Right.
What do the venom feed on? Power.
Right.
And she's been having dreams. She's been having dreams of the sage.
Mm-hmm.
So did the sage tell Jack that he could not let her die? Because she's the secret to them winning the war.
That's possible.
I also want to know, who is this sage person that she's been talking to?
I was curious about that too.
I have a couple of theories. I have 3 specific theories on that.
Uh-huh.
Either it's her father.
Huh.
Naolin, after he saved Brennan.
Right.
Or stop it. Why did I send that to you as you said that? Oh, Sage is her dad. Or this one's kind of a little, we'll have to play around with time on this one.
Uh-huh.
Is the sage Xaden?
How do you figure that?
I saw a TikTok earlier, or not TikTok, a video earlier. The sage is depicted with olive colored skin and sweet smelling breath. Xaden is depicted with olive colored skin, and he's obsessed with chocolate cake. And at one point, she does say that the sage's breath smells like dessert, but she can't pinpoint it.
That would
And
be
knowing now that he is Venom, but I'm leaning a little bit more to it being her father. Only because I have been in rabbit holes of videos and knowing that Rebecca is a huge fan of Star Wars. There is some some correlations between Xaden and Anakin. Because Xaden in both books stated the words, "You'll be the death of me." Obi-Wan said to Anakin, "You'll be the death of me."
Do you remember that, right?
From Star Wars?
Yeah. So I've never seen Star
Not in
Wars.
those exact words,
So
but
I don't really know those characters that well.
he says like a whole long thing about him being the death of him, which Anakin tries to kill Obi-Wan at one point. And then he becomes Darth Vader. Luke, I am your father. So what if the leader of the Venom is either A, her dad, or he could kill her himself, obviously, yes. Or is it Xaden's mother?
Huh?
Because of the Star Wars connection of it being Luke's parent, being the ultimate bad guy.
Well,
those are the two parents that we don't know what happened to.
True.
We know that her father was assassinated for his research on feather tails. But past that, we don't know what else. Is he still alive? Because we thought Brennan was dead.
Yeah.
And why does Violet have silver hair?
That's a good question.
And her siblings do not. So did he turn Venom in his research of the feather tails? Because they're the key to the cure for Venom. Because Andarna states to Violet that you and I are the same. Do they both have the same magic in them? Is Violet the cure for Venom?
That'd be interesting theory.
I feel like I'm going a little bit too ahead of myself on this, but I have a theory thought here. So maybe Jack wasn't supposed to kill Violet because her dad's the leader.
Of the Venom?
Yes.
That could be definitely interesting.
Because if he turned Venom before he was killed, and he got with her mom, that would explain the silver hair. Hey, just popped in to say can't wait to watch this later to see all your theories. Hi, Jess.
Hey, Jess.
But there's also the other theory of she passed by someone else with silver hair.
Mm-hmm.
Another girl with silver hair.
Right.
Did Violet have a twin, and that twin turned complete venom? But we'll get to theories in a second. Sorry, I'm getting way ahead of myself. I got way into that. Sorry.
It's all good.
Okay, so Violet spent a long time isolating herself from her friends, then told them the truth about the venom and what happened at Resin. Do you think she should have trusted her friend / Wing a lot more or a lot less?
More.
Ray said more.
Agreed.
Well, maybe in some cases, yes, but I can see why she didn't want to tell them. Because what if someone accidentally said something in front of somebody else, and then that gets spread to the next person, you know? So it's
And what
not.
if Dane read their thoughts?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that's probably why she didn't want to tell them. Because what if he decided to, like, you know, Dane could touch somebody and instantly know what they're thinking. So maybe she wanted to save them from that. And that's why she didn't want to tell them.
Well, that's why I don't think she did. I think she even.
She only told them when she had to
Yeah.
because of the dagger, which we'll get back to that dagger spot in a moment. It's one of the other questions.
Dagger.
The first time Rhiannon called something through a wall.
Oh.
The only time she ever called something through a wall. Because
I wonder if she has.
I have a theory.
Right, I'm ready for this theory.
We'll get there. Okay, set. Thoughts on Zayden and Violet flying away from Bazgath with half the cadets and teachers.
I thought that was kind of funny, honestly.
I'm happy my favorite teacher came with them.
Yeah.
Devadara, or however you say her name.
Yeah, I like her too. I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, she's my favorite teacher too. I'm glad she decided to join them. Because they're fighting for what's right.
Mm-hmm.
Not just for, like, any other reason, but for the fact that they really believe in this cause. They want to do the right thing for everybody.
And they're not wanting to overthrow the government. They're wanting to protect people.
Yeah.
So to me, it's not a rebellion.
Yeah.
It's who went with their heart to protect everybody.
Right.
Which is why Ulrich went with them.
This is why this gives me Divergent vibes.
Mm-hmm.
Because it feels like we're reading that, but in a fantasy-esque way. And I love Divergent, so that's probably why I love this series.
I hated the Divergent books. Loved the movies. Did not like the books. Liked the first one, and then the next one. Ugh. Then the one after that, I DNF'd.
Well, the last book at the very end made me cry, but the movie completely changed the ending, so I wasn't happy about that.
I've heard that a lot.
That's a whole nother discussion for another time.
What did we think about the introduction of Kat and her storyline?
Refresh my memory on Kat again.
The king's daughter that was, or not king, She's the third in line to the crown for
Shay.
poor Mel.
Ah.
We ride at dawn. Cat's a hoe. Jealous hoe.
It's funny.
Cat's the one. She's Zayden's ex.
Oh yeah.
The
Okay,
Griffin
I
Rider.
remember who she is. It's been a while since I read Iron Flame, so I do remember most of it, but there are parts that I have forgotten, which is why I wanted to do a reread before Onyx Storm.
I hate her. But Rebecca in multiple interviews have stated that Cat is one of her favorite characters.
Really? Why?
We don't know yet. Those are her exact reasons.
Maybe she has something planned in the series for her, and that's why she said that?
She said Cat is one of the strongest characters in the series. And I'm like, why? Why? Of all people, why her?
Well, the series isn't done yet. After Onyx Storm, there's supposed to be 2 more books. So maybe she has something in mind that, makes her redeem herself.
I also want to know if all 5 books are going to be about Violet. Or
I want to see more from Zayden's point of view.
Or are we getting an Akatar moment, and the next book after Onyx Storm is about a completely different character?
Ooh. Maybe Rhiannon?
Or Cat?
Or both?
What if they end up together?
That would be amazing.
Let's not wish that, though. Let's not put that in the air. I'm going to put a can of heart on that. Because I don't want Rhiannon to be with her.
Because in this world, I love that, like, nobody questions the fact that, guys, like, 2 boys are together or 2 girls are together. They don't care.
Same.
They just, like, love is love, which I love that. And, like, I wish more books did that. But
I also like the disability rep with Jacinia and now Sawyer.
Yeah, that too. But it would be interesting to see what happens with Kat and what Rebecca's got planned.
Agreed.
I'm interested now that you bring that up.
Okay. So it was said that secrets make poor leverage because they die with the people who keep them. Should secrets be revealed or should they stay hidden?
Well,
I love how I read that. Sorry.
well, I don't think they necessarily need to be hidden. It depends on who they're meant for, and in what context. If it's gonna hurt somebody, then maybe not reveal it. But if it's something to protect somebody or just to help somebody, and they just didn't want, like, maybe then that's a time to share. Like, so I guess it kind of depends on the context of the secret.
Agreed. In the honesty conflict between Violet and Zayden, who did you side with?
Okay, this is an interesting question. So this is the reason why this wasn't a 5-star for me. It was a 4.5. Because in all honesty, I've had trust issues in my past. So that's why I was always on Violet's side. Because it's not fair to her. If he's gonna do stuff that has her involved, he needs to be honest about that and not keep it from her. If it's concerning her, she needs to know so she can be prepared and to do what's necessary. Because it's not fair to her. If it's involving anything that has to do with her, she should, like, I don't think it's right to keep that from her.
Agreed. I have trust issues, so yes, I agree. But there's something that happens within their argument That will play into one of my theories here in a little bit.
Okay.
Does the deal that General Sorengel made with Zayden change how you see their relationship? The whole letting in all of the marked ones into the writer's thing, writer's quadrant, if he looks out for Violet.
It makes me wonder what Rebecca has in store for us with her mom, and maybe she has something to do with why the title is Onyx Storm.
I saw a theory earlier on that. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's what made you put this idea in my head. That I think we're gonna get more on her mom in Onyx Storm, and like it'd be really cool if we got her point of view as well. See, so we could see her motivations and why she does what she does, and maybe there's more to her than we realize.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason why she wanted Violet in the writer's quadrant in the first place. So I'm interested to see what happens with that.
Same. And I couldn't have agreed more with what you just said. So
That's why we're perfect as co-hosts together.
do you think there's more venom hidden in Bascaius and Aratia? Thoughts on who it could be? Because we did have Jack state at the end when he did like his ultimate thing that they've been there for a while.
Right.
I'm curious if there's a couple of scribes that aren't venom. Because there has been multiple points. Scribes are not allowed to be in the writer's quadrant. But there has been twice that I know of where a scribe was seen with their hood down and their head down, so she couldn't tell who they were, running away.
That could be the venom that are hiding amongst them.
Which makes me wonder about her teacher that was a scribe. That hides all the information. The one that took her father's spot.
Yeah. You think he could be a venom?
Possibly.
That would be interesting.
I also think possibly General Atos, Dane's father.
I mean, it's possible. It could explain why he's trying to. That theory you said earlier about him trying to control Dane. Maybe it's a venom ability. Unless he already had a signet and that being a venom just made it like made the signet more powerful in some way.
I'm also curious if any of the writers that are cadets that are hiding in plain sight could be venom. Ones that you don't notice because they're never looking at anybody, they're never talking to anybody, they're never so you don't see the reds in their eyes.
True. That could be interesting. Like they're all. Like, I wonder if that's actually true. That General Sorengale and all the others that are controlling the school, how can they not know?
But why would you suspect venom And a place Venom aren't supposed to be allowed in because of the wards.
Well, they did say the wards were weakening.
Uh-huh.
And that it makes it easier for them to come through if it's not as strong anymore.
But it's Basgias. They stated that they would be able to notice everything. So when you're so on the nose of saying, no, I would never know, they would never be allowed, blah, 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 you leave the holes for them to get in the least likeliest spots. And they're going to be in plain sight.
Or maybe they already know that they're there. And they have another plot in mind.
Who knows?
Concerning Violet and the rest.
Who knows? This is what I'm excited for, is to learn more about Basgias and Aratia and everywhere to see who would be what. And if it is true that anytime a dragon has bad breath, how many of the other dragons have bad breath? And they just don't open their mouths.
That's a possibility. I didn't even think of that.
And are they going to use Seagal getting bad breath and Violet finding out about Satan?
Maybe that's how she finds out?
Possibly.
I wish we had the book already.
Hello. Okay. So, the cadets of Basgias and the cadets of Cliffsbane academies have culture classes. What are their differences and what are they similar on?
I completely forgot about Cliffsbane, in all honesty.
Basically, the writers versus the Griffin people.
Oh, the Griffin people.
Yeah, Cat and them. I will say their major difference is none of Cliffsbane's people die.
That's true.
They jump off the cliff, they fall into the water, and then they go just climb back up and choose a different path. The riders, the dragons will kill them.
Is it possible they could also be Venom?
Yes, but I don't know if they would be, though. I'm wondering if them being bound to a griffin makes it slightly different for them, because their magic acts differently.
Right.
So I'm kind of curious, is Cat going to be a key to stopping the Venom? Or pinpointing who's Venom? With her ability of being able to control people's emotions.
Right. That could be interesting.
Which, no offense, Cat, no offense to Rebecca, she totally stole that from Twilight.
Did she?
The ability to control one's emotions. That is a Jasper ability if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. I totally forgot about that.
How dare she give a Jasper ability to such a hoe?
Could be interesting.
And I think they're similar in the way of how, like, the fourth wing bonds together is how the friendships of the other bonds together as well. It's like they all put their friendships first.
Yeah.
What do we think of Adolescent and Darna?
I still like her.
I was rolling up a storm every time she would talk. And every time she gave Turn attitude, I loved it.
Right? She makes me laugh.
Tarn. Sorry. Why did I call him Turn? Not a turnover. It's a turnover. Which I will also say, something I noticed after watching a TikTok, I didn't realize it. All the dragons' names are Scottish
Really?
names.
I didn't know that.
The long names, Turnicock, or however you pronounce it,
Right.
is a Scottish name. And it means, oh, that one meant like something to do with like the color black and then like dragon. But
Right.
continuing on with Androna, we found out at the end of the book that she is the secret seventh dragon, and she has waited 650 years to hatch to bond with Violet. Did I write bound? I meant bond. Bond with Violet. Why do you think that is? And what makes Violet special?
I think the dragons think that Violet is the key to ending everything. Because don't they like know they could see the future, can't they?
A couple of them probably can.
Yeah,
I mean, with Melgren having that signet, you would think a dragon would have that ability.
Yeah, I think there's something that Tyrion said. I can't remember. Was it in Fourth Wing maybe? That where he said that they have their own history and their own ways of things, and I feel like he said something about knowing what's coming in Fourth Wing. So
and dragons don't make wrong decisions.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're how many dragons that they have this ability, but I'm pretty sure that they know how this is going to all end up, and they know that Violet is a part of that and is a catalyst. I feel so. There's what Tyrion said to Violet made me think that.
And how do we think? Even though we're not to that question, we will get to that question. But how do we think Andarna being a secret seventh dragon is going to affect her secret second signet? Also, could Violet have more than just two signets?
That's what I thought too. I'm thinking she might have 3.
Could Andarna be the child of one of Violet's ancestors' dragons and be able to have given her another ability?
That's actually not. I think that's possible for sure.
I'm wondering if Sorengels are the descendants of one of the original 7.
Yeah, it would make sense. I honestly think they were all waiting for Violet, and as soon as she got bonded to Tyrion, I think that's when it all started. I feel like that she's gonna be like the leader. I don't think it's gonna be Xaden, as much as people think that he probably would be. I don't think it's going to be him.
I have a theory where what he might happen to him, but I get where you're coming with this.
Yeah, I feel like eventually Violet's gonna be the one that's gonna end up like either taking over the school and protecting everybody in some way. I think she's gonna end up like as that person, like kind of like the president of the United States kind of thing. I feel like she's going to be similar to that in the very end.
That kind of coincides with one of my theories that may happen, that I saw floating around as a major theory. And if this happens, I think we'll all riot. But we'll get there in a moment. Okay. We also found out that Violet's father was coincidentally writing a book on Featherwings before he died. What do you think might come of that?
Of the book? You mean?
Yeah,
I mean, isn't Andarna one?
she was a Featherwing. Featherwings are baby dragons.
Yeah. I think somehow that someone took his research, and I don't know who yet, but I have a feeling something's like it's gonna get put out there somehow.
Or does he still have his research? Because he's not dead and he's Venom.
Which is possible. It's possible that he's still writing that book if he is still around.
Mm-hmm. And what do we think of General Soaringale's arc?
Honestly, I think in Onyx Storm we're gonna get more of her, and I think she's gonna be the one that dies in the end, not
She's
Mira.
already dead.
Oh yeah, duh.
She dies at the end of Iron Flame because
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Sloane siphons the power from her and from her dragon and puts it into the stone,
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that part.
saving everybody. So she sacrificed herself to save everybody. I was bawling up a storm and I was like, I got really angry that I was crying too. I will not cry over General Soaringale, dang it.
But she really did the right thing in the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think she really had. I think it was really. I don't. I think she had her reasons for putting Violet in the Writers Quadrant, and I feel like we're gonna find out those reasons in Onyx Storm,
Mm-hmm.
and because I really think whatever it is, she had good intentions as much as Mira, you know, didn't think so. I really think she did, and I think she wanted like Mira to be the one to protect Violet
Mm-hmm.
in case something goes wrong.
But I'm curious if Mira's gonna make it in the next book. Because I feel like they're going to need someone's powerful death in the next one.
I don't
So
think
far, it's
Mira is that
been
powerful though.
well, not powerful in the sense of with power,
Hmm.
but I feel like we're going to need a powerful death to cause Violet to do something.
Or Zeta not being a Venom, what if he dies? Oh, you know that wouldn't work because then she would die too.
Would she though?
Ooh, what if both their deaths are the catalyst?
My thing is would she die because she is tied with Darna? And we know nothing about this type of dragon.
Hmm,
If he dies, yes, Taryn Seagal will die, but will she?
that's true. Because they were only bonded because their dragons are bonded.
And Andarna has not bonded with someone yet, or mated with someone yet. Could
And
that change everything?
that would be huge.
Which we'll get into that with my theories because I have an idea of who that might be.
Hmm.
Because that will cause a huge thing if something else is true.
Mm.
So, when and why do you think Jack became a villain? And why did Nolan and Varish try mending him and then just send him back to Biscayas to be a writer, knowing he's a villain?
I think it's because there's already Venom in there and they don't care anymore.
Or did they think he was cured and they were so naive?
I don't think they. I don't think. I don't think that's it necessarily. I think there's more to it.
Or they sent him in there to kill Violet.
I don't think Nolan would.
No, but Varys would.
Yeah.
And Nolan's scared of Varys.
But I feel like they had something else in mind when sending him back.
I don't think we're done. I don't think we know the true extents of that yet.
Yeah. I'm sure the next book we'll find out more.
See, this is where I thought Varys might be a villain.
That's
on the whole trying to cure Jack and sending him back in, and then is he the one that told Jack to destroy the wards?
That's true.
And how to do it. Which also, how the hell did Jack survive when his dragon's dead?
Because he's a venom.
So will that be true of everybody? So if Seagal dies,
Xaden could still be alive as a venom. Because technically...
But will Tarn live if Seagal dies?
Ooh.
Or would Tarn turn on Xaden and kill Xaden for Seagal dying? There are so many possibilities here. Okay.
I have things spinning in my head now.
Okay. So, what do we think of the runes being introduced into the story? Did that change the story at all for you, or did it just add to it?
I think it just added to it more than changing anything. Because it gives it gives the magic system a little bit more to work with. So that could be interesting. Maybe we find out, in the next book, how runes are playing into the story. Mm-hmm. What else it could possibly be used for? Because it makes me think. I don't know if you read the City of Bones series by Cassandra Clare.
Yeah.
But they use runes to a lot in that series to draw protection and all kinds of other things for their magic. So I wonder if that's going to be the same in this.
I hope not. I hope it's a little bit more unique than that.
Well, maybe they have runes that do a lot more than just simple stuff. Like maybe they have a really powerful one that does something huge that we just don't know about yet.
Okay, so Arik, aka Cam, King Taru's son, found out the truth of his own and secretly became a writer. What do you think his motivations are, and what repercussions do you think this will lead to? So we'll have our had.
I don't remember much of him because it's been a while since I've read Iron Flame, so I don't really remember much of his character.
Only one other person knows who he is. No, I think two know who he is because I think Xaden knows. But Rhiannon knows. Oh, and then obviously Dane knows. Because Dane grew up with him.
Oh, yeah.
But who told Arik that Xaden killed his brother? Is what I want to know. Killed the middle son. Which leaves the youngest son, Holden, who is Arik wants to take the crown. who may or may not be Violet's ex.
Forgot about that part.
She did say that he was wrong about Dane. She never slept with Dane. But he was right about the infiltree. So one of her exes, at least, because she has 2 major exes that she mentioned.
Right.
They were not mentioned by name. One of them, at least, has to be from the infantry. And then possibly Holden. Because how else? Why would Jacinia go, oh? She was like, oh, how did you know? To Jacinia, and Jasinia's like, oh, the eyes. He has the same exact eyes. You would only notice if you knew him. So she wasn't talking about the king.
Right.
Was she talking about Holden? And why wouldn't the king send all of his kids to the war college? But he didn't want them to become a dragon rider.
Maybe he wanted them to be someone else?
Infantry makes perfect sense. They get to see battle, but they don't have the dangerous side of riding the dragons and having the magic.
True.
But they get the lay of the land to be a leader. So what if Holden is in the infantry quadrant and is going to make an appearance?
That would be interesting.
Because she very much, Rebecca is nothing when it comes to words.
I mean, she could have been planting clues all along.
I mean, there is a clue in Fourth Wing. In chapter 36 of Fourth Wing, where it is put down, where is it? Taryn puts us into position, hovering about 20 feet above ground, as Liam flies for the griffins above us, wielding spears of ice into the injured wyvern's throat. Blood streams as the wyvern falls from the sky with an ear-piercing cry. Liam's powers are not ice.
Right.
So how was he wielding 2 spears made completely out of ice?
Does he have another signet that we never knew about?
Does all of the marked ones have a second signet? Because of the stone. The rune stone that they all had?
Right.
So when they sacrificed it all so that he could have like the scratches on his back, the scars on his back, did that give all of them the ability to have 2 signets?
That's a possibility.
Okay, so Brennan has some complicated moments as he reintegrated with his family. What do you think of the way he, Mira, and his mom interacted?
I don't remember much from this scene because it's been a while. But I assume he wasn't too happy to see his mom.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was more happy to see Mira and Violet. But maybe not his mom so much. Or maybe he knows what really happened to his dad. And that's why he doesn't like his mom, because she didn't tell him the truth.
And was that why he was sacrificed? Because he knows, or sacrificed and killed? Because he knows what happened to his father, so he knows the truth?
That's my thoughts. And he just hasn't told Mira and Violet yet because it's not his place.
We're getting to the fun questions, the theory questions and stuff. But I agree. So Yaros has said in an interview, every single hint you need to know. Okay, every single hint you need to know what Violet's second signet is in Iron Flame, and it's manifested already. Do we have any guesses of what her second signet is?
Well, one of the TikToks you sent me about this made a lot of sense.
I have,
The knowledge weaver thing.
yeah, I have about 4 that it could be. There's the Knowledge Weaver.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if, because of Andarna being who she is, will that mean she's a dragon shifter?
Dragon shifter.
Then it was okay. This was pitched by somebody. It is so crazy, but I kind of follow their logic. The name of the series is the Empyrean series.
Uh-huh.
The Empyrean are the dragons, and only the dragons.
Uh-huh.
So why is it that the lead of the book is not a dragon? Only dragons can go to the Empyrean meeting. Could her ability be turning into a dragon? This is so far-fetched and out there. But could she turn into a dragon and go to said meeting?
That would be interesting. But has she manifested that?
No. So there's that. Then there's the I personally think her ability of the lightning and stuff gives her an additional ability with that. I think she's an amplifier. Rhiannon couldn't move things through walls until she needed her to. Until Violet needed her to. Mira couldn't produce wards outside of the couldn't boost wards with outside of the wards, but she could when Violet needed her to. Does Violet's powers amplify others?
That's actually a pretty good guess.
Because with Xaden and her being so antithesis of each other, day, night, storm, darkness type thing.
Right.
Could his power be, like, could the shadows ultimately become nullifiers? While hers is amplifying, he nullifies magic. Which is why he can turn invisible into the shadows.
Right.
Because he's nullifying others' abilities around him to see him.
Right. That's possible.
So that's like one of my major things. But I'm leaning a lot more to like this knowledge weaver thing. That she's going to be an intrinsic, just like Xaden, just in a different way. She's going to have the knowledge to the reason why everyone listens to her when she goes rapidly through her brain is she knows the outcome without knowing that she knows the outcome. He always says to her, ask the right questions. You know the questions to ask.
Right.
And she knows that those are the correct questions, but she's scared of the answers. So is that her using her ability to know the answers? Because one of her needs is she always needs to know the answers to everything to protect those she loves.
That, I think, is more like the most solid theory, I think.
And I don't think the time manipulation went away.
You mean with Andarna?
When Andarna gave her the ability, I don't think it ever went away from her.
Oh. Oh, you
In the
think she could stop time even without Andarna being there?
yes.
That
But I
would be
think Andarna has to be close, but she doesn't take the magic from Andarna. Just Andarna has to be there. Just how like she uses Tarn occasionally to like come up with hers, that
Mhm.
she inadvertently does that with Andarna, because in the battle, Tarn was like a minute away, and she went, step one, blah 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 happened. 2, blah 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 happened. 3, blah 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 happened. 4, blah 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 happened. 5, blah blah blah. Too much happened for it to only be a minute.
Right.
So did she slow down the time to give him time to get there?
Hmm. That is possible. I didn't think about that.
Or is that tied in with her ability of having to know the right answers for everything, and her other ability amplifying that?
That's a strong possibility.
So it's like, I feel like that is going to be what's happening, because I think she's an amplifier. Then something about her other powers actually amplifying and the knowledge thing is all tied into one.
That's possible. I can't wait for the next book.
But she did
I'm
say
so
one line in the book tells you what her power is. One line in Iron Flame tells you what her abilities are. And I think it is when she's having the conversation with Zayden
hmm
about him being an intrinsic. I can never pronounce that. And she says the whole, well, I need to know the answers to everything. Which would tie her back to being a scribe.
Right.
So she would have an ability of her mother's and an ability of her father's.
That would make so much sense.
But when they stated that her lightning ability isn't lightning, it's just raw power. It just comes out in the form of lightning because that is how she views it.
That's a way of amplifying.
Yes, so that's a way of amplifying it. So
Yeah.
when she is near others and she needs them to do something, inadvertently, she gives them part of her power and amplifies them so that they can do what is needed to be done, whether she does it consciously or not.
Right.
Which, if that's an actual thing, I feel like those two together, and then that gives you so many opportunities for the rest of the book.
Right. We were talking about what Violet's second signet could be.
Oh yeah, I wondered that myself.
We were just talking about that. Well, maybe she could possibly be like an amplifier and like
And a knowledge weaver.
possibly like a knowledge weaver
Maybe.
because she needs to know the answers to everything.
Yeah.
And then there's been multiple moments in the book where one of her friends or her sister couldn't do something, but because she needed them to do it, they did it.
Yeah.
I.e., Rhiannon taking the dagger through a wall. I.e., her sister making a ward next to the Venom to protect them in an area that has no wards.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So she throws her regular signet ability subconsciously, giving them raw power in the moment she needs them to do their ability. And could that be why Zayden's... Could this also be why Zayden's shadows are getting stronger? because he's bound with her now. Because since she got her ability, like, was noticed.
His is now amplified.
Yes. So is she inadvertently amplifying him, and is he amplifying her all at the same time?
That would be interesting.
Or is he nullifying her second signet?
Because his is shadows.
Uh-huh. So he's the yin to her yang. So if she amplifies, he would have to nullify.
Maybe he's nullifying the time stuff, and that's why you can't do it as much.
Or is he nullifying her knowledge one, and that's why she hasn't asked the questions?
Ooh.
Because she physically can't ask the questions.
Right. That would make a lot of sense.
And he doesn't know he's doing it.
It all comes full circle, it seems like.
Yes, I love it. I need the next one. Because one of the videos I saw, they mentioned this of her being an amplifier, him being a nullifier, and then Zayden turning full Venom, and her either sacrificing herself to turn Venom for love, or her killing Zayden to protect those she loves, in being the Onyx Storm. I think the Onyx Storm is going to represent their relationship.
That is a strong possibility.
Because of his eyes being described as onyx, and her being able to control raw power in the form of storms.
Yeah.
Another signet of possibility could be she gets her mother's ability. A storm wielding.
Oh, yeah.
Where in the book it did manifest in the clouds when she shot the lightning into the clouds. She dropped her power into the clouds and it killed all the werven while they were climbing the side of the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
So she made her own storm and wielded it.
So the two of them together, Onyx Storm. That would make so much sense. What if we just crack the code?
We crack the code! We ride at midnight. We don't ride at dawn. We ride at midnight because we like to sleep in. So we'll just do it at midnight. Then we'll okay. Whose death in the book surprised you the most in Iron Flame? Not Fourth Wing, because Fourth Wing would be Liam.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really expect her mom to do what she did.
I didn't expect that either. And I can only think of two other major deaths.
Who are the other ones again? It's been a while. I don't remember.
One of the Fourth Wing members that in the cave when they were with the Griffin Riders and they were supposed to find the boxes, and when they pushed her out of the way, the girl's head hit the wall and died.
Oh.
Because Solus appeared. Varish's dragon.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I want to say that was Mara or Quinn. Side characters, if you're not a major side character and I'm not rooting for you, I don't really care. You're not Riddick, Sawyer, or Rhiannon, I don't care. Because to me, there's so many writers, they're all going to die. So it's listen. And then the other death was the Griffin girl when she fell off the she fell off the wall because she couldn't save her. She could only save one of them, and she saved her friend.
Oh yeah.
Who the friend she saved is the one who dies in the cave. So it wasn't Quinn. Oh no, her name started with a V. One of the deaf people's names started with a V. I don't know. But those are the only 3 deaths I can think of. Besides Varish. And he deserved what got to him. I'm waiting for General Atos to die. And I'm waiting for Dane to die. Then again, Gale never died in Hunger Games.
What if he does, though? That could be huge.
I know, and it would be perfect.
Revenge.
What if it's Violet that kills him?
Maybe he's trying to protect
And
somebody that he's going
Aiden.
after? That's a possibility.
Or she's trying to kill someone and she's so full of emotion that the lightning hits Dane instead. Which could be like a way that leads her to becoming Venom.
Maybe?
Because she killed her oldest friend.
Or maybe Violet, like kind of what you said before, for her to become Venom, she has to die, right?
Yeah.
Or at least, what if something happens to her and Zayden is the one that can't live without her? So, because he's already Venom, he turns her Venom. That way they can still be together.
And he sucks the power out of Dane and puts it into her.
That could be interesting if that actually happens.
Bless. Who do we think is the biggest villain in Iron Flame?
The one I want it to be is probably not.
Who do you want it to be?
Well, I want it to be Jack, but I don't think he's the biggest villain.
And I don't think Varish is either.
I think there's something else out there that we haven't gotten much clarity on yet. You might not even find out until like the 4th or 5th book of who the biggest villain even is, because
watch it be someone extremely close to her. Watch it be Dane, Rhiannon, Riddick.
I don't think it'd be Rhiannon. That's the one person I don't think it would be. But maybe Zayden.
That would. Watch it be Brennan.
I don't think it'd be Brennan. However, her dad's still alive. It could be him.
I mean, it would make the most sense to either be her dad or his mother. If we go by...
Or both of them.
We've already seen Twilight references. We've already seen Shadowhunter references in this. And there are Star Wars references. Luke, I am your father would be that Valentine was Clary's father.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry if I spoiled any of that for anybody. My bad. But Shadowhunters has been around since I was in middle school, so...
Yeah, it's been around a long time.
And Star Wars have been around since the 70s. If you didn't know Darth Vader was Luke's father, where the hell have you been? Listen. So it's like, I feel like the villain might be a parent.
It's possible.
The only other person that is still alive that's a parent is General Atos.
You think he's the biggest villain?
I don't think he's the biggest villain, but I think he's working with the biggest villain.
That's possible.
I feel like he's more like an Igor to Dr. Frankenstein than he is to anything, because he's not the brightest bulb in the box.
That's true.
Because he let his emotions get the better of him.
Yeah. It's so many things.
Did we see any Easter eggs or foreshadowing moments?
I think we've talked about a lot of them.
We have, and I can't think of any others besides the ones we've already talked about. So, can you think of any?
Hmm. Or watch it be Zayden being the biggest villain in the end. That would be
If we
interesting.
followed the Anakin storyline, he becomes Darth Vader.
And she'd have to fight her own her own boyfriend. That would be insane.
Which leads me to a theory. What if Andarna mates with Onyx Dragon?
And he's the one that she's meant to be with.
The king's son.
Alright. That would be like a huge thing.
Even though she used to date his brother, they're now tied together forever.
And that's
Just like her
also
and Zayden are tied together forever. So can Zayden die? But with Zayden being a villain, does that change the rules?
yeah. Like this could be like a whole Akatar reference with Tamlin. Like she's not meant to be with him.
And I think we'll all riot if that's the case. Because we like our Shadow Daddy.
Yeah, but what if the Shadow Daddy ends up being
Our Shadow Daddy.
right? I mean, it'd be sad, but it'd be crazy.
Could? Oh, shit. Okay, this is such an off-the-wall theory here.
Uh-huh.
Like, what I mean off-the-wall, Zayden being the sage. Off the wall.
Uh-huh.
The other silver-haired girl. What if that's Violet?
No way.
Come back in time to change things.
Ooh.
Also, whose green dragon was the dead dragon in the field? Because it's none of our friends. Because I think it's Bodhi that has a green dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So it's none of the crew's dragon. The only other green dragon we know of is General Panchek's. Is Panchek dead? Or is Panchek a villain? Sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier. But what if the silver-haired girl is Violet from the future coming back to change things because of Zayden turning into a villain?
That'd be crazy.
So if that's the case, then that Violet can be with Zayden while this Violet is with Auric.
That would be huge.
I swear to God, if that actually happens, then I literally have the ability to predict the future, okay? Or Rebecca read this and went, oh, I like that idea. I'm changing everything. As long as you put my name in the acknowledgments, I don't need any money. Just put it in the acknowledgments.
Thank you, Clint, from Reed's Readers, for this idea.
What do you think will become of Zayden and Violet's relationship after that ending?
Well, we did kind of touch on that.
I feel like we've been touching on that, so
yeah.
Never mind. How do you think the venom will be fought in future books?
I don't think they're gonna be fought at all. In all honesty, I feel like the Venons taking over, basically. I mean, if they
I
already have Venom in the school.
I think the Venom are going to get cured. And I think Andarna and Violet are the key. And they're going to have to go to the Isles.
Oh yeah, the Isles.
Well, it doesn't show it on the map, but the Isles, where no one goes to, I think is where the rest of the 7th dragons are.
And the dragons might be the only ones who are able to cure Venom. Could that be
Which might
possible?
cure Zayden. Also, if Sloane is a siphon, can she not siphon the Venom powers out of Zayden and put him back into the earth?
That could be interesting.
Or is that a plot hole that'll never get discussed?
Honestly, I really feel like Rebecca Yarros is gonna be like the next SJM, but better.
I mean, she's already got other
long
books
as she
out.
connects everything together in the end and make it all make sense.
I will say I do want to check out Rebecca's other books.
Yeah, I have a bunch of her romance books that I still need to read.
The Things We Leave Unfinished, Great and
that.
Precious Things, and then The Last Letter.
Oh, she has more than that.
Well, it's only listing 3 right here, so.
Oh. Well, she definitely has more, because I have some of them on my shelf.
I just want to know, why did Fourth Wing get so hyped as quickly as it did? I get that it's an amazing book, but who chooses a book to get as hyped like it did with ACOTAR? It's like kind of curious how that happens.
Probably like someone recommends something, and then that person read and loved it, and they recommend, and then so on and so forth until it's all you hear.
Did book 2 live up to your expectations for book 1? Yes, and then some.
Well, plot wise, yes. Character wise and their intentions, maybe not as much.
Understandable. With your 4.5, makes sense.
Yeah. Because I wasn't a fan of Zayden not sharing to Violet that Violet should know. But I'm hoping with Onyx Storm that's going to be completely different. I'm hoping it's going to be like a 6-star for me.
It's either going to be different in the sense of, he'll share everything, or he's going to start keeping more and more secrets.
You think he's going to keep the secret that he's Venom?
I think so. For as long as he can.
Until she finds out that he's Venom on her own somehow.
Yep. Because she uses her new ability. And asks the right question. Did our rating change during this discussion? No, we're just too more excited for the next one. So that is all the questions I have for Iron Flame. We are leading into theories and predictions that we haven't discussed.
I feel like we pretty much discussed everything.
I have some. I screenshotted some that I saw
you got
today.
more?
Yes, I saw some today that I needs to. So, we have some politics predictions. With Lilith and Varish dead, who will fill their roles? And what level of power will Colonel Atos and Colonel Panchek gain with both of them gone? That's a thought. This one. Melgren promised Arietti, them sovereignty if they helped at Samara. They didn't help at Samara. They helped at Basgath. Does that still apply? Or will he use it against them?
He could use it against them.
Will Navarre and Pormel work together to fight the villain?
We might.
Now that the revolution is known, what will happen with those who chose to leave?
Leave for what necessarily? Like, where are they going?
No, the ones that left to join the
Oh, the rebellion?
rebellion. What will Navarre do now that everything's out in the open? Because they can't hide that many wyverns from the population.
Right.
Then we have some history ones. When was Navarre's history erased? We are given two contradicting dates. 400 AU and 234 AU.
Uh-huh.
Did one of the first six bond two dragons? And was there a seventh, or were there a seventh unknown rider? Or is Andarna the first of her den to bond a rider? Because it said 6 plus 1.
Right.
6 bonded dragons and 1 not? Is she the first?
That's
And if
possible.
she is, what does that mean?
Can mean anything, really.
What is the origin of the villain? The fables tell us they turned from jealousy for not being able to bond dragons, but Tarn tells us dragons bonded riders in response to the venom. So which came first, the chicken or the egg? Did the venom come first, or did the riders come first?
Well, depends on how long the dragons have been around.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think we know that answer yet.
What is the weapon they need to fight the venom? Is it Andarna's Den, Violet's Lightning, or something much, much more?
I think it's going to be something much, much more.
Okay, then we've got dragons. These were like thoughts to like make you ponder for theories and stuff. I thought these were just like fascinating and wanted to bring all of these questions up.
Gotcha.
Can a dragon choose to break a bond? What happens if a dragon's rider turns venom? What happens to the dragon? Because now we get to watch Sigel. We didn't get to watch Jack's dragon.
Right.
He was chaotic before. Sigel wasn't chaotic. So are we going to watch Sigel turn very much chaotic?
That's possible.
What are all the Feathertail gifts? And absolutely everything else about the Feathertails. Because I feel like that's going to play like a major key in something. They keep mentioning Feathertails over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Why do some of the dragons have bad breath? Is it a sign that it's something wrong with the dragon or the rider? Like, that has been discussed a lot. What happened to Andarna's lost den, and where are they? And why does Andarna's fire work against the venom?
Huh.
So now some theories on Zayden. Like some questions about Zayden.
Uh-huh.
Where's Zayden's mom, and why did she leave when he was 10? Is she in the Isle Kingdoms?
Huh. That's possible.
Can Zayden truly only read intentions? Or can he really read thoughts and doesn't realize it yet? Now that he's venom, is that going to be expanded upon?
Possible.
Did Zayden actually kill the sage / general at the end of Iron Flame? And does he know who that venom really was?
Good
Because
question.
they seemed like they knew each other.
Yeah. That's possible.
Who told Auric that Zayden was the one to unalive his brother? What will happen to Zayden if people find out he's turned? There's people that already don't trust him.
Yeah.
And is there a cure?
Mm.
Okay. We have Violet. What other abilities will Violet have with her pure power signet? Which amplifying is what we think.
Yeah.
We've already talked about her second signet. Why does Violet's hair turn to silver at the ends?
Good question.
Why do the Venom want Violet so badly? I think it's because of her power signet.
Yeah, they want to use that.
Because she's going to constantly have it so they can feed off of her for like a long periods of time.
Yeah.
Why did Andarna wait 650 years to hatch specifically to bond Violet? And was she in that egg for 650 years listening the entire time?
That is possible.
Will Violet turn Venom for love? Okay, now we got the Sorengels. What is Violet's father's name? Is his last name Sorengel or something else?
What makes you think that?
Well, Sorengel is his mother's last name. Is her mother's last name.
Yeah. Doesn't mean it can't be her father's last name.
True, but could her father have been one of the people that have we already seen his name and we just don't know it?
Ooh.
Like, did he do any of the headers? She's very poignant on those.
Mm-hmm.
And there's names of lieutenants and stuff that we don't know who those people are.
True.
Was Violet's father assassinated? And if so, do we know by who?
Well, there's no body either.
What is in Lilith's journals?
Probably evil plans.
Or is the truth about her father in there?
Ooh.
And how did Naolin manage to save Brennan? And what is the rune-shaped scar on Brennan's hand about?
Ooh, I forgot about that.
And writers that we still don't know what their signets are. Garrett, Felix, Professor Devara, Colonel Atos, Surrey, and Auric.
Oh yeah.
And do the marked ones relics produce a second signet? And here's some miscellaneous ones. I thought these were fascinating. I thought all of these were fascinating. Why does the Mari family have a connection to explosives?
Mm.
That was mentioned, that being Sloane and Liam's family.
Right.
What is out on the Isles? Why do the Venom want Jack, and will he ever die?
I would like him to.
My thing is he, are the Venom kind of like, I hate to relate it to this because she's such a transphobic author. Are they like Horcruxes in Harry Potter? Where they're like half a soul?
That'd be crazy.
Because they sold the rest of their soul to have this power?
Mm.
So will they live forever? Unless someone kills them?
Oh gosh.
Were the nightmares that Violet was having, were they Violet's, Zayden's, or both? The ones that she kept having the dreams of the sage person?
Right.
Was it Violet having the dream, or was it Zayden having the dream?
Maybe they're both having the same dream, and Zayn just hasn't said anything to her.
And then who else is Venom? So those are some thoughts to like look out for in the new book. Oh,
Yeah. We still have to wait like 10 days.
I know. Ah!
I need it in my hands like now.
Also, you were right on a couple of hours because we've been on for an hour and 55 minutes.
Yeah. I think it probably wouldn't be more than a couple hours.
But those are all of our lovely thoughts. Do you have any other like theories or anything that we haven't discussed?
I think we pretty much touched on everything.
We have. I think.
I'm so ready for Onyx Storm. I need to reread Iron Flame, and then I'm going right into it as soon as I get it.
How excited is everybody for Onyx Storm?
Let's go. Let's have it right now.
I might sell a couple of my Green Creek editions to get my hands on an early copy.
Dang.
If that tells you anything of how much I really want this. Which I also realized as I was going through the shelves, I have another dragon book that I might try to tackle next month.
Oh yeah, what's that?
That my boss gave me because she used to get Bookish Box. And she gave me like 2 of their books because she's like, I'm not interested in these. You're a reader. Well, one is the first of a series. It's called Court of Dragons by Frost K. I found all 3
I've heard of that
audios.
author before.
I found all 3 audios on Everand. But like the dragon scale.
That's cool.
And then
ooh, pretty.
It's the Bookish Box special editions.
Nice.
And then
ooh.
But I was like, I need more dragons. And I'm like, well, I'm not gonna get to another dragon until March.
So might as well get that one.
Because the March Fiction Falls book.
Right, I'm excited.
Which I'm excited that book 2 of this comes out in June or July.
June's my birthday.
So I'm like, but also with this, it's called the Dragon Isle Wars series. And the Dragon Isles, so when I was looking at it, I was like, ooh, is that what the Isles are? Are all the dragons on the Isles?
Interesting.
And I'm just going to put all my dragon books together. Just so I know where it's at if I need it. But yeah, I just wanted to show that prettiness off.
That is really pretty.
But I think this is where we're going to wrap up the live show.
This was fun.
With just calling Kat a jealous hoe. I just want to do it one last time. Because she a hoe. She a hoe. She a low down nasty hoe. I don't know. I don't like her. We'll watch her be Nesta. I didn't like Nesta at first. And then when Nesta got her book, I liked Nesta.
Right. Same.
But thank you, Amanda, for joining me for this surprise video talking about Iron Flame and getting to discuss and gush and all that stuff.
All the fun stuff.
and do all of our theories and stuff. So anybody who has lasted this long, thank you so much. Thank you for going. If you're watching this afterwards, thank you so much. Also, comment down below. Let us know what are some of your predictions for Onyx Storm.
And let us know what you think of ours.
Yes. Do you think any of our theories and stuff might come true? Who knows? Again, thank you for the people who came in the comments. Shay, Dana, Jess, and I think that was all who actually commented. But thank you for anybody who came and watched. Because I do see we have 4 people watching, so thank you for joining us. I know this was like a spur of the moment thing. I loved Iron Flame so much I wanted to gush and talk. And the ADHD is bouncing off the walls. Yeah. But that's all we've got for you guys. Remember to embrace your inner rainbow, take care of your mental health, and hydrate. And we've only got 10 days, people. 10 days.
10
all
days.
We've got. 10 days for Onyx Storm.
I'm counting down the days.
We've got 10 days to finish our TBRs so we can tackle that.
Right?
We got this. We got this. We got this. We got this. So, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new, hit that subscribe. Go follow Amanda. She's linked down below. So is our 4th Wing live show. If you have not caught that, go check that out. And until next time, I guess, oh boy!
Bye.
In the broadcast.